Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Turnbuckle Studios proudly brings to you its gaming and entertainment news of the week with your hosts. He's Bubba Duke, I'm OMD, and welcome to the Boar's Nest. And tonight,
Go ahead.
Tonight, joining me live right here in studio, the host of HTM Tech Podcast, one of our great influences in getting into this, ladies and gentlemen, Big Joe.
Corporate Joe is in the house. Let's let him get his stuff on, his gear on, people, and let's give Joe, a great friend of ours and definitely an influence on this podcast. Joe, thank you for coming all the way to our studios just to sit here and talk shit with us.
Right?
How you doing, my friend?
I don't think we've ever done anything like this, at least on Turnbuckle Studios, where like a guest just kind of showed up in person. I mean, we used to do it on when we were doing Energy Rock Radio stuff.
Yeah.
Turnbuckle Talk, but I mean, this is definitely a first. All the way from my studio down in Southern Ontario up here to the Great White North.
Yes, and welcome home.
Right? I mean, we grew up in this town, right? So it's
Yes.
it's weird. It's weird, but it's weird coming back, but it definitely feels like coming back home. Absolutely.
So, yes, this is a first, not only here in the Boar's Nest, but Turnbuckle Studios has not done a live like this. And yes, people, I did switch spots with OMD on the cameras because this, well, which side's he on this side? That piggy, he was in the way. So we got some comments already.
Sweet. What do we got?
So we've got a couple of comments here. We got 202 Degree. Are you all not watching Triple H's announcement?
Oh, so we hit that at the same time, my brother.
Yeah.
And one said he thinks Triple H's major announcement is about Warner Brothers having Raw on FX or TBS.
TNT.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think Triple H's major announcement had to do with the weekend of July 5th, 6th, and 7th
Which
today, where they announced SmackDown, Money in the Bank, and the NXT Heatwave PLE from Toronto.
Yes.
Did they say what arena?
Scotia.
That's Scotiabank Stadium. Nice. Or arena, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, that's sweet. That's in a really cool part of Toronto.
They can't.
That's definitely really cool.
Are the Jays? No, they're done now. So yeah, no, the Sky Dome, the Rogers Center, is under renovations right now. So
yeah,
they
could do it. They could do it at the Rogers Arena because the baseball season will be in full swing, but it would depend on if the Jays are home or away that weekend.
Yeah.
Yes. So on the side of big news, aside from that gentleman being in studio live with us right now instead of on camera.
Right.
Again, thank you, Joe, for coming. Like we've said before, you've always got an open invite to do what you're doing now or jump on camera and join us. Because
this is a rare occasion, so don't get used to it. But
speaking of occasions, Mr. Joe,
mm-hmm.
The reason you're in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, Canada right now is why?
This is really cool. This is something. It's a culmination of Carl and I. We started this thing back a while ago. I mean, and you guys have really kind of grown this thing in my absence. But I mean, this is like 30 years in the making of what's happening tomorrow. I mean, we've been lifelong fans of professional wrestling, whether it's watching, whether it's doing it at home when we're specifically told not to. Dreaming about doing some kind of thing, wrestling related together, and when CWE first came to Sault Ste. Marie, we were very integral in promoting and getting the word out there for it. As far as the old J&K podcast logo appearing on the poster for that original show here in Sault Ste. Marie. So it's like a homecoming, and it's like a coming full circle for myself to come back here in the town that I grew up in, where we always tried to get something going with wrestling, to be able to sit together and do commentary on a wrestling show together is something that's it's literally on my bucket list of things to accomplish before I peace out of this world. So it's a really, really cool thing, and I tried to make it happen on the previous show, and things that just didn't pan out, but we were able to make it happen this time, and dude, I'm stoked.
Yes.
Okay.
And for the record, Bubba and I will be there live in person as we locked up VIP booth seats for tomorrow night.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
so
it's going to be really cool. I'm looking forward to it.
On that note of that bucket list of things that you wanted to do, I'll admit my feed just died. I don't know why I did that. Who cares? I got to do a show.
We just talk for an hour. I'm cool.
Yeah, exactly. We could too. It wouldn't even bother me.
Right.
I got to do a commentary with Carl for the show that Rowan was in town. The goosebumps I got doing that, and the high I got doing that, dude, is uncomparable to any drug I've ever done in my life, any drinking I've ever done in my life.
Right.
The only thing I compare it to is getting into the ring for my first match.
Right.
Like the nerves, am I going to remember everything that I have to do? Is it, like, oh, am I going to call something stupid or, like it's just the nerve.
Getting to do something that you're kind of good at in front of a large number of people. That's the part that I'm looking. I mean, we've done, radio and streams and whatnot to a certain number of people, but this is going to be my first time, doing something like that in front of a large group of people. I think it's interesting, guys, is like I'm not even nervous, which is kind of surreal because like you guys didn't know me back in early grade school, but remember we used to get in front of the class and do what they call like an oral presentation.
Yep. Yes.
I'm gonna drop an F shot if you're cool. That used to be fucking terrified.
Yep.
Speaking in front of even like 10 people. But now the prospect of as far as I know, the venue is sold out for this show, which is awesome.
Completely
by the way.
Sold out. I actually just asked Kevin.
It's not even intimidating to me. Like I'm just excited to do it.
Well,
because it's been something that's been so long coming, and it's
Yes. I was gonna give you a tip.
Yeah.
Sit at your spot for a minute when like nobody's around before the show starts.
Just kind of take it in.
Take it in for a minute, and go.
Right.
I got this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Just take that second to say, you know what, I got this, and then go balls to the wall, give it 110% like you always do in your podcast, because it's no different. Just everybody's live, bro.
It's cool because it's getting to do it with somebody. Like I said, Carl and I have known each other since we were in grade 5, the better part of over 30 years. It's looking forward to meeting you in person tomorrow, Chris, as well. That's also been a long time coming.
Yes.
But yeah, just going to do with a guy, and that's adding to the comfort level as well, just because we've done so much together.
Yeah,
This is the first time us doing this together. But I suspect that when we start doing it, it's just going to flow, and that has me excited.
Yeah, like I know Carl and I have a chemistry because I've known Carl for 20-some years now, but I know you've known Carl longer and you've done this. It's just going to be like riding a bike, bro. You're just going to get right back into it. Like it's never stopped, and it's so exciting. And I will point out for everybody, the entirety of Turnbuckle Studios minus one guy is going to be at this wrestling event tomorrow.
Yes.
Chris Parrish is the only gentleman at Turnbuckle Studios that will not be there tomorrow.
Well, sorry, JJ as well, because he's
I forgot about.
He's on StreamYard, but yes, he is now a member of. I believe he's now a member of Turnbuckle Studios.
Well, he's got his stuff here. I might jump on to Twitch on my phone tomorrow and do a quick hello to everybody, because I will be sitting with OMD and just kind of give you a quick look around. It's a brand new venue, never been there before. So I might just throw that out there tomorrow, have everybody come and say hi, do a couple of little quick interviews with the fans. Hey, what do you think of the new venue, kind of thing. But I say all this because I have a huge, huge request of one Mr. Mighty Joe, Corporate Joe, the Boss Man Joe, whatever we want to call him. I have a request from you, my friend.
What
I
do you
think
got?
you already know what I'm going to say. I
Mm,
think you already know what I'm going to say. And this, people, is the original.
Yep.
As you can see over here, signed by one Carl Kerfeld. On this side over here, I would like to get one Mighty Joe signature. And that, my friends, is going to go up on my wall behind me here.
We will make that happen, my friend.
Like, it took me a long time to talk Carl into
Yep.
letting me have that, because it is a significant part of Turnbuckle Studios and where it came from. Like,
Yeah,
that's the original shirt.
because and what's interesting with that as well, because like we went from doing stuff with our good friend Mr. Ryan Carlisle, who's still doing Energy Rock Radio. I mean,
Yes.
I took a huge leap. I mean, we've tread this ground before, but we'll do it again for those who maybe aren't aware
Go
of the
ahead.
story. Like we took a huge leap of wanting to go independent on our own. Originally, my idea, and like even as good as I know Carl, I was still terrified of the prospect of saying, "Hey, you know what, dude? We're going to leave this platform, or we're going to go do our own thing." I
Yeah.
legitimately did not know what his response. I mean, I know what I hoped his response was, and it ended up being what happened. But
Yeah.
still, at the same time, it's just like legit fear of just like, is my best friend / brother going to want to do this with me? And thank God that is the way that it happened. It's been a rocky road since then as well. As you all are aware, I'm not a regular
Yes.
person on here,
Not
but
yet.
we'll see about that. But and getting to do my own thing with HTM Tech, for those tuning in here, make sure and check out my channel #HTM
Please.
Tech. And that's gone through a few iterations in itself. Being part of the Hitting the Marks podcast network, which is where the HTM originally stood for, was Hitting the Marks. It's a bit of an inside joke for you professional wrestling fans out there.
Yes.
But now, kind of taking that same moniker, but putting a new twist in with how tech matters, and really kind of looking into technology and how it does matter and how important it is in our day lives now. So that's just a fact. So, and it dawned on me the other day when I did my first episode for 2024. I've been doing this stuff on the internet in some capacity now for 10 years.
Wow.
Since I originally started doing the Joystick Justice League YouTube channel with my good friend Micah, who is kind of doing his own thing now as well.
Right.
10 years of doing content on the internet.
Right.
Let us be the first ones to say congratulations.
Yes.
And we
Yeah.
wish many, many, many more years of podcasting in your future, because you do have a good message on your show. It is definitely something I've checked out. Kind of just sat in the back and watched and listened, and I didn't want to interrupt what you were doing because you're passionate about it, and you could tell you are. Like, you've been passionate about the wrestling podcasting.
Yes.
Like when we were in the beginning, it was great. You and Carl both inspired myself and this guy to do what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
And if that's all that's accomplished out of that, like I know we have had some major accomplishments, having big guests and stuff like that. But I mean, if nothing else, if I at least inspire some other people to, if they have a passion for that, to plant that seed there, even if that's all it's accomplished, to me that's that warms my heart just knowing that that's the case.
I mean,
And yes, go ahead,
Joe,
Ken.
you and Carl allowed me the privilege of joining you for the J&K podcast a few times,
Right.
for some of those blockbuster interviews.
Okay, I want to tell a story here. I know we're eating into the game time.
No. This
You already said
game
it's
time
cool,
is
so-
gone now. We're just
So-
sitting and having a chat now.
Santino Marella. Okay, this was an interview that you were, with me with. It was the middle of summer. It was scorchingly hot in Studio B at the time. We called it Energy Rock Radio, and we had audio issues right off the hop before Santino even came on camera. After it was all said and done, because like it was weird because the audio was coming in weird. It's like it was all coming through one speaker. Maybe what had happened is his headphone cord was actually wrapped around one of the knobs on the mixer that was turned down, and that's why the I thought it was like the humidity.
Oh, that's
or something
awesome.
screw with the mixer. No, it was his headphone cord that
It's
was
your
wrapped
fault,
around the
dude. It's
knob.
your fault.
Jesus.
Right?
All your
And I was-
fault.
So like I'm panicking that like WWE star Santino Marella is on doing an interview with us, and the audio's not working right. It's like I'm just inside. I'm just like
The
I'm just,
panic, right?
crying inside, right? So, but it still worked out really cool. If he's watching, or if he does watch, Mr. Ryan Carley, who gave us opportunities with Energy Rock Radio, all those interviews that we did, like I'm not gonna name them all just because I don't want to forget any of them. But we
Yeah,
had the
don't.
pleasure to talk to some great people, and and even just since then with doing stuff with hitting the marks and other platforms that we've been on, even with doing the text that I have now, I get to fall back on some of these people and still collaborate with them, like Mr. Rick Vickery from the HTM podcast. He does the ad read for my ad at the beginning of the episode. Matthew
Nice.
Shafford Gage from the Homie Media Group and all that stuff in the South Park podcast. I get to call on him as well. Jargo, who helped start the Hidden. I still get to work with these guys, even and even though it's not wrestling stuff, because he's a big Apple fan too, and so that that's right in our wheelhouse. So, dude, it's so cool that even though I've kind of somewhat departed from the wrestling world, to still be able to pull on my friends and be able to, it's so cool.
Here's the thing. You might not do a wrestling podcast, but it
I'll always
doesn't
be a
matter
fan.
because
I'll
it's
always be a
exact-
fan, right?
podcasting is a family, regardless of what you do.
Yeah.
That's why we are with Turnbuckle Studios so much, because aside from podcasting, we're all brothers.
We're a pretty tight knit group,
Yeah.
for sure.
We're,
right?
we're
So-
brothers. Like,
Yeah.
It's nothing to do with podcasting. Yeah, podcasting makes us tighter because it gives us more to talk about and more to bounce off each other. Like this whole gaming part of the Boar's Nest was literally OMD, and I went, I'm kind of getting tired of the wrestling thing.
Let's just hit record, right, and just do something. Right?
He's like, well, I like gaming. I'm like, what system do you have? Oh, you got an Xbox. Oh, dude, so do I. I've been with Xbox before day one dropped. You know what I mean? Like, I was a game tester and a product tester and stuff for them. So we went to Carl and was like, okay, Carl, we're kind of burnt out on wrestling.
Yeah.
How do you feel about a gaming podcast?
Yep.
And he just went, do it.
Yep.
Do it. Go have fun. Do what you want to do. Have fun. As long as you're having fun, keep doing what you're doing.
Yes. And I do want to give tribute to one other guy who was with Joe and I during the Energy Rock Radio days.
Yes.
A man who is no longer with us.
Dude, you're going to pull my heartstrings on that one.
Mustang.
Yeah.
You love your brother.
That one still hurts.
It does.
I did not get the pleasure to meet him, I don't think.
No, I don't think you
I
did.
think that was kind of a between me.
Who's just like naturally gifted musically, especially in that capacity. Okay. I don't think I've met somebody who just had like natural kind of like ability. Like when it came to like, if you ever like meet somebody for the first time and you have this expectation of what their voice might sound like.
Yes.
They just like surpass, like it's, when I first saw one of his recordings, you can still find it on YouTube, by the way, absolutely incredible stuff. Like Songbird is like the word that comes to mind, and just that man could play like just natural talent.
Wow.
Yeah. In fact, actually, this February, when I go across the river, I am going to see one of Mustang's favorite bands of all time in Blackstone Cherry.
Nice. That's cool.
I want to make a special shout out as well. While I'm here, kind of in person. one is in the chat and one is on camera with us right now. Of course, for you those aware, Carl and I did start Turnbuckle Talk. I did leave, for various reasons, not because of anybody who is here right now or in the chat or watching. Anybody, there were a lot of other reasons. It wasn't because of a dislike of anybody or anything like that. Having said all that, I want to personally, in person here this time, to thank you, Bubba Duke, and current day Mr. Chris Best for stepping in to fill my shoes. Both of you gentlemen have done that extremely well. And I am extremely proud of both of you for the work that you both have done on Turnbuckle Talk in my place.
I
just want to make sure I give you guys both props here while I can here in person. I know Chris can't; he's not on camera right now. I kind of wish he was, so I can say it to.
He wants to jump in. He's got an invite too. He knows.
Yeah,
jump
by
in.
all means, hop on, dude. But if nothing else, tomorrow, we'll finally get to meet each other in person, and looking forward to some conversation there because again, like you guys have done.
Yeah,
I can make an argument that you guys have surpassed what I've done.
When I'll just give you a little tidbit of there. Yeah, he just said, "Love doing the show. It's been a blast." I have the same sentiment. When I did Turnbuckle Talk right after you basically asked me, you're like, dude, can you step in? Can you just kind of help Carl out?
Yep.
And I was like, hey, yeah, dude, no problem. I didn't even ask why because it was none of my business at that point.
Yeah.
You just said, can you cover for me? And we'll talk later.
Yep.
I'm getting goosebumps in my hair standing up right now talking about this, dude, because it's like it's here. Because my first shot at podcasting was with you and Carl on the JK podcast with Energy Rock Radio. And that gave me the bug. And when you would ask me to step in for you, it was a huge honor, dude. It literally was like my old man handing me the keys to the car and saying, okay, go for a ride, son, by yourself.
Yeah, it's with that too. I mean, it almost makes tomorrow night even more kind of special. Minus our friend Mr. Chris Parrish, who I was could also be there. We're all going to be in the same place in person.
Yeah,
for the first time ever. So that's making that again. Just extra.
There's gonna be lots of hugs tomorrow. I got to.
You know what? It's just there's one regret that I have for tomorrow night, and that is that the four of us cannot be in the ring.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Not even competing, just in the ring.
Well, we'll have a discussion with Mr. Danny and see if maybe we can. We'll see if we can talk him into it.
Yeah,
photo op even. Just get in there and take a shot with all of us. Here you go. Turnbuckle Studios originals.
We'll yeah, because I'll bring everybody in on this too because this originally wasn't going to play out. So how it was originally going to play out is I was going to be at the previous CW show that was here in Toronto. What the original plan was, and it failed spectacularly. But okay, but I'm going to clear everybody in what happened here because what ended up happening is my mom ended up with a health issue. And that's why I had to bail on coming to the show because she had a health emergency that I had to be with her there for. So that's what the original plan was that Carl was going to be on commentary, and then he was going to have a mystery guest for commentary. And then I was going to make an entrance in and surprise him. That was the original plan. And even in the planning phases, it almost kind of got ruined because I had set up a group chat that I didn't fully think ahead of time on first, and then I'm messaging everybody, and then the person that we're trying to surprise almost got in on almost kind of found out what was going on. So it doubly kind of failed, but this is still gonna be really, really cool. And again, I might sound like a broken record, but I don't care. I'll say it again. I'm so looking. I drove from Southern Ontario up here to do this, so
yeah. How was the highway on your way up?
It was what it was. I wasn't even really thinking about it. Just kind of
you just stoked to get up here, right?
I'm so just anticipating the moment, right? So, like I said, this is close to 30 years in the making of Carl and I doing something on a wrestling show together.
I am going to be honored just to be there to witness this bucket list accomplishment.
And the show itself is going to be really cool. Too cool. It makes it full circle again because you know who the special star was for that first CWE show? It was Too Cold Scorpio. You know who's going to be here tomorrow night? Too Cold Scorpio. Yep. So like,
dude,
it's like the universe has aligned for this to happen. Yeah, that's why it's like when I heard, it's like I need to make this happen.
No way,
right? So
okay, so time out for a second.
Yeah,
obviously, Mom's doing okay because you're here.
She is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah. We are.
That's good to hear.
That.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't want to stop you in your because that whole circle from start to thing. That's you can't make this story up like.
Right. Yeah.
But no, I just wanted to make sure Mom was okay because.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Good. That's good. So, as you know, in the Boar's Nest now we're doing, we have news that we do, and we have gaming. So I want to cover. We do have some news stories, and I want to kind of get your opinion on these two movies.
I hope that you were going to mention one thing that I actually saw before I came over here. I'm hoping that you're going to mention it. Do you mind if I just mention it?
Go right ahead, dude.
In case you're mentioning it.
Bring it up.
So, because I know you guys are both Xbox gamers. I'm a PlayStation gamer. You know, I'm not gonna hold it against you guys.
No.
Okay. I don't know if you guys have heard this. There have been rumors of this that this was going to happen, and it is a thing now. We officially have a Xbox toaster.
An Xbox what?
Toaster.
Really?
Yep. This is a real product. Look it up if you want to. If you doubt me, this is a real thing.
I don't doubt you, but I just want to see it.
And to boot, when you toast your toast, it's the Xbox logo on the toast.
I know we had the Xbox Series
Shut
X
up.
mini fridge.
Shut up.
Yep. Now there's a toaster, folks.
Shit, it looks like my Xbox.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a Series S.
Shit, you know,
Series
dude.
S toaster.
I don't know. Hold on. I'm going to try to.
I really regret not buying the Series S mini fridge a year ago.
Yeah, it's a toaster.
There you go, people. That is, dude. You know what's
I've now officially seen everything. Yeah,
right.
I've seen everything now.
Hey, it was done for social media a couple of months ago. Xbox Canada created a double controller, so it was the color of a Tim Hortons double.
Cheers to that. Oh, I drink my coffee black, but nobody's perfect.
Right, you and me both.
So that's hilarious, dude. We actually.
Right? I had to I googled it and I looked through several sites because for me confirm something is legit, it's got to be in multiple places, otherwise it's bullshit in my opinion. So I'm like, okay, so Forbes, IGN, all these companies are. I'm like, okay, so we actually have a Xbox toaster.
Yeah.
How long until we get the original PlayStation logo as for your toaster now? Are you giving 3, 4, 6 months?
I don't see them doing it.
No, I don't.
I do because Xbox did it. They're going to do it.
No, not necessarily.
No, not necessarily, because PlayStation didn't do the mini fridge a year ago.
No, it's true.
They should, just like Nintendo, they do their own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know. It's funny. I don't even know what to say now. How do you segue into any shit after that?
It's a freaking toaster.
That's as cool as my Star Wars Darth Vader helmet toaster. It had the Death Star on one side and Star Wars written on the other side. I was like,
that's actually pretty sweet too.
Right.
How the shit do you,
Joe?
Fuck you. You just killed our show.
Beat that.
Well, I'm going to break into news about some new upcoming movies. Now, I'm not sure, 2 of them, and I'm not sure when they're going to be released. However, due to the public domain day falling on New Year's Day, we are now getting 2 Mickey Mouse horror movies. We are getting Mickey's Mousetrap,
which looks cool.
It does. I did send you the first trailer when I found it.
Yes.
As well, today I have discovered a new one called Steamboat, based off of the Steamboat Willie.
Who's producing it?
And that is going to be written, directed, and produced by one Rob Zombie.
Wow.
Fuck yeah.
Interesting.
Sorry, that was really loud. Holy fuck.
How the hell did they let that copyright lapse? That is mind blowing to me.
I don't understand how they allowed
Like
that to happen.
to be clear for everybody, because I did look into this a little bit too. It's not the entire Mickey Mouse character, because that would have been like
just
insane if they lost the rights to Mickey. It's just that original iteration of him.
Yes.
The Steamboat Willie version of that. That's the only one that's gone
Yeah.
to me. And even with that, there are still some restrictions.
Right.
As well. So.
Yeah, they still have restrictions, even though it's that Steamboat Willie. They still have restrictions on.
Yeah.
But dude, Rob Zombie's making it. Gonna buy. I don't even have to watch it in theater. I don't care if it's shit. I'm buying it. I got all his movies that he's ever produced. Like, why would I not?
Yeah, he is kind of really come into his own with that. It's not something that I expected, and boy, did he ever like.
Yeah.
Like you could argue like he's a better dresser than musician was at this point. Which is kind of insane when you think about it. Ooh.
Actually, I think
what's really cool is that he did an interview, and they're at, like, where do you get your inspiration for all your movies? Like, why are they the way? He's like, have you ever watched 70s gore movies, like the murder
Totally,
movies?
that's totally
He's
where.
Like, that's where I get all my inspiration for how I want my movie to look. Is back in the 70s.
Yeah.
What is this? Mouse Trap? Is that what that one is?
Nope, that is
Steamboat.
Steamboat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can't really see it go up a little bit. Yeah. Your screen's bright too, so that doesn't help. I turned mine right down. Pardon me. Yeah, just like when Winnie the Pooh went public domain, we got that whole. I haven't even seen that movie yet, and I got my Fire Stick, and I just haven't even looked for it.
Yep.
Thank you for that information, Chris. I totally forgot all about Winnie the Pooh.
They turned it into like a horror movie or something, right?
Dude, yeah, it was epic.
Yeah.
Like total 70s slasher fucking.
Right.
It was great.
No, I have not seen the Winnie the Pooh one that came out last year.
No. I have it on my Fire Stick, I'm sure. I just got to look it up, to be honest. So yeah, we got those two Mickey Mouse movies. The Mickey Mouse, the Mouse Trap one. I did watch the trailer for that shit, bro.
Right.
Speaking of Amazon stuff, because it is something that is on Prime, in that same kind of vein, do yourself a favor. For anybody who's subscribed to Amazon Prime, I believe it's still on there. There is, in that same murder kind of vein, there is a movie called Rubber. And
Rubber?
The best way I can kind of explain this, it is a serial killing rubber tire. So it's literally like a rubber tire, except it kills people.
Oh my god!
It's called Rubber. Go check it out.
Oh,
yeah. It's like it's one of those ones where like it's so bad that it's good.
It's good.
Yeah, if you ever get a chance to check it out, it's like one of the most ridiculous things that you'll ever see. Yeah,
I love movies.
It's entertaining as hell, though. You know, like, despite it's completely absurd. He ends up with all the women too for some reason. I don't know how.
Everybody calls them the like early B-rated movies. They're like
they are
budget movies.
I mean,
those things are awesome.
Sometimes they just have a charm to them, right? So
yeah, they just that it's low budget because you can see like strings and shit in the background, and you catch the little glitches here and there, and you're just like, dude, that's what makes these movies awesome.
Yeah. Mars Attacks.
Yeah, like Mars Attacks or the Attack of the 60-foot woman or whatever it was, like
yep.
Yeah. Like you could tell that stuff's all like dinky cars and stuff, and she's just walking around. Like the original Addams Family and like all that stuff. You could low budget doesn't mean that it's a bullshit movie.
No, right? Not at all.
It just means they're more creative with what they need and how they get it. Okay, so you got those two movies. Do you have anything else as far as your news? Because I have some pretty cool news.
I don't actually. I do not.
Okay, so we're going to change gears from movies and gaming. I'm going to go to sports because we haven't done anything sports lately.
Okay.
This group of people need a huge pat on the back and a comment of it's about fucking time. Um, women's hockey officially has a actual hockey league. It's the PWHL, Professional Women's Hockey League.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now listen, I'm telling you, people, this isn't some bullshit. Oh, it's a bunch of girls playing hockey. No, these chicks, dude, scared the shit out of me. They're hitting the slap shots they can do, the puck movement, the why the fuck have we not had a professional league before?
They've had and attempted leagues before and they've always fallen through. This one, when it was announced, got funding from the NHL.
Good. Okay, so this being said, there is only 6 teams, and they're running it like they did for the NHL original 6 teams. You have a month schedule, boom, and then you go into your playoffs, and then your final, and then you're done. Thank God. Dude, I tried to get tickets for Toronto, sold out the whole season. You can't get a seat.
Nice.
Tried Montreal, sold out, can't get a seat. Tried Ottawa, sold out, can't get a seat. I'm like, fuck, okay. If I got to go to the States because I'm getting my passport, I'll go to the States and go to my passport. Boston, sold out. New York, fucking sold out.
Right.
Minnesota, sold out. Like they don't even have tickets to sell people that walk up. They're like, sorry, dude, you got to go home.
And now, and I'm going to tell you this because I did see highlights from a game the other night. I believe it was Ottawa and Montreal.
Okay.
And for this, I believe it was just the second game of the season.
So it's been the second. Yep.
And they had a sellout crowd and the biggest crowd ever in the history of 8,300 people.
Right.
Which is huge for women's hockey. The only way you're going to get a bigger arena is when you're playing internationally at the Olympics.
Yes.
Would I love to see them fill a 10,000 to a 15,000 seat arena? Absolutely.
I think because it's being done right, they only have 6 teams.
Yeah.
They had a draft. They had whatever. Like they did this legit. They didn't just say you're all on this team, you're on that team, and they got 200 and some odd freaking teams. No, they got New York, Boston, Toronto, Montreal.
Yep.
4 of the original 6 cities for NHL.
Yep.
Yes.
And they added, let's add in Ottawa and the whole state of Minnesota.
Yes. Now, for those that may not know it, the original 6 of the NHL actually originally would have included the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah.
Yes.
Going back to the early 1900s.
Yep.
The very early, yes. No, you're correct. You're not wrong.
As
Not
well
at
as
all.
the Vancouver Millionaires.
Right? So there's some history there. At least they stuck with a couple of the original 6 teams. I'll give them credit for that.
And even with some of the teams that have recently come into the league. For example, the Seattle Kraken, the Seattle Metropolitans back in the 1930s played for the Stanley Cup.
So it's not like there isn't history behind what they're doing. It's history.
Exactly.
And it's not like they're neglecting and saying, well, the NHL really doesn't matter to us. We don't care, whatever. No, they've literally had the NHL come on board and say, listen, we're going to help you.
Yeah.
And we'll do what we need to do to help you get this to where you need to get it. Now, I was watching a game the other night. It was Boston and Minnesota. This part killed me. I wasn't really paying attention until they had a couple of good goals. Like one team scored and then bam, right away the other team scored. I was like, holy cow. And I'm paying attention to the goalies. these women are playing with their international helmets on, like paying
Right.
tribute to this is where we're from. The starting goalie for Team US on one side, the backup goalie for Team US on the other side.
Yeah.
I was like, and they're looking at each other and they're kind of laughing while they're in center ice, looking at each other and kind of, peacocking a little bit, like, haha, I'm better than you.
Right.
And then go back to their nets, and these women, dude, I haven't seen this kind of intense hockey in years.
Right.
Like back when we had Turco and Patrick Roy and Matt and all these guys playing net.
Right.
Like back in the prime when we were kids, like intense goaltending.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, like
awesome.
Patrick Waugh, I'm gonna pronounce it right because you pronounced it wrong. It's Patrick Waugh.
I did it on purpose.
Okay.
I don't like the guy.
But you had to respect the way that, like, one of
he was
the
good.
probably most like physical, like I'm talking, like he would skate well out of his crease to just destroy. Like when he played for Colorado, like he would. Because that whole team was very physical. Forsberg, they're all very physical players. Like he would skate out to the blue line and just destroy guys into the boards.
Forget that, dude. You remember the fight he was in?
He was just just like such a physical player, like, and even going beyond what you would expect a goaltender to do. That's why, like that, between like 96 and 98, that team that they had in Colorado was fucking incredible.
When did they go from
Forsberg, Patrick Waugh? Like they had a stacked.
When did they go from Quebec to Colorado?
I believe it was 92.
It was part of that whole Lindros thing.
Or no, sorry.
It was after.
No,
96,
when Quebec moved to Colorado.
Right. And then Ottawa ended up with Eric Lindros, and it was Quebec that turned into Colorado. They ended up with
96, Chris says.
They ended up with Forsberg and all those kind of guys, and just had like just a
I remember it being 96 because that's the year I graduated and went to high school. Yeah. And then Patrick Waugh, I'll say his name properly. I was just doing it to bug you earlier. Right. He literally went from Montreal to their first season, and that's when they won the cup because, like you had said, Joe, they were all so physical. Like they had a point to prove. They had a little chip on their shoulder, and then put the guy that had the biggest chip on his shoulder at that point in time, Patrick Waugh, in net.
Yep.
Dude,
like
you might as well just handed them the damn cup.
Like Forsberg is like one of those guys. Like even if you like knocked him out of his feet, he'd still have his stick on the puck, still trying to work it.
Yep.
Like he would never give up on the play. Like as long as he would be near that puck, he would be trying to get a piece of it. Like it's a shame that his career was cut short with knee injuries.
Yeah,
because he could have even had a longer career than he did have.
He could have.
Like he was just supremely talented. One of my favorite players of all time.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree.
I definitely will agree with you. Just before I continue into what I was doing, we have a special person watching us.
Yes, we do. I am.
You see that?
I do.
That's Timmy. So the reason I brought up the PWHL is they still need support. Even though this thing is going, they still need fans to support them. So go to their website, which is pwhl.com, and you could sign up for a newsletter. Hey, Chris Parrish, what's going on, my friend? And just by you signing up to this newsletter shows that you're supporting what they're doing.
Yeah.
And that you're interested. So you will get, by the grace of God, if a ticket comes available, you will know that there's tickets for sale and how much they cost. I did personally write an email to the league asking how much tickets cost for each place and if they would like some shameless promotion from a nobody podcast, because I would gladly promote their product because I am pro sports, whether it's female, male, whatever you want to be called. I don't care. If you put on a good product, I'll promote the shit out of it. I don't care.
Yep.
So that's been put out there. I was excited to watch. To be honest, it's like watching wrestling when we were kids. You're right on the edge of your seat going, what's going to happen next? Because these goalies looked like the Patrick Waughs, and Marty
Yeah.
Turcos, and these guys that this girl made 3 saves back to back to back.
Yeah.
And I mean, talk about being out of position. She was way out of position.
Right.
Way out of it, and just throwing gloves and stick and pad out there and looked like what was the goalie for Buffalo?
Hasek.
That's what she looked like.
Yeah.
Wow.
Remember when he was doing his flips and turns and dude, I didn't know if this girl was coming or going out of net or left to right. But she stopped that puck and then the old Patrick Watt flashed the glove like that.
Right.
With that one slap shot to the top. Boom. I'm like, I didn't just see that. I'm like, replay that. And I recorded it on my thing and I kept replaying it. I'm like, holy, that was intense. So if you want some good entertaining hockey, go to the pwhl.com, look at their schedule, and that will be on your TV. They have a TV contract, TSN, whatever it's 1, 2, or 3, or 4, or 20, whatever it is.
Yeah, there's quite a few TSN channels now.
TSN has picked up their contract, so it's going to be on TSN. Period. So look it up, check that shit out. I personally can't promote it enough. Like,
same vein too with women's sports. Like if even women's soccer, like they do like a World Cup and stuff now. Like there's like they play at a very, very high level.
Yeah,
it's
I would love to see. I would love to see that come to professional football as well. Not this lingerie football.
Don't even get me started on that.
No, we're not.
Don't.
So just
no. I want real.
To be fair, too, lingerie football is still very entertaining. I will say
it is. I can't say I've never watched it, but those girls, regardless whether they have a full uniform on or what they're in right now, they've even said we don't give a shit. We're playing pro football.
Right.
Hey, you're playing pro football. I'm not going to mess with you, too. I'm dead.
But those things will beat the shit out of the professional pillow fight league.
Dude, that's horrible.
No, and I'm not doing it. I've actually seen clips, and it's 2 guys in a ring, 4 ropes on each side in a pillow fight. And it's like the Ultimate Pillow Fight Championship or Ultimate Pillow Fight League.
Have you ever watched the Ultimate Chase Championships?
Yes.
That shit's intense.
It is. It is. We know it's our boy Parrish's favorite sport to watch.
What, the pillow fights with dudes?
No, the chase tag. The chase tag, but I could see him watching the professional pillow fighting.
This is also crazy. Is the slap fighting stuff like that? That's the type of thing though, where it's like, hard to comment on because like it's personally, I'm not really a fan because like it's like you see some of these wind up in like the print like it's supposed to be just like you're supposed to be just swinging your arm, but there's some of they put like their whole body weight into it, and like they get hit clean on the chin. You don't get to defend yourself.
Right.
Like I don't see people having a long career doing that.
No.
Have you?
Like I see people get annihilated. And it's like
cool.
So he lost and his career is now over.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. I watched, and I'm probably gonna get flack for this, but I don't give a shit. I watched the midget version of that. The little people, sorry, whatever you want to call them. I know one, and he says call me a midget because I hate little people. I watched one, and unfortunately, somebody put really stupid sound effects on it, and I'm officially going to hell because I just about peed. Because they do like the guy winds up, and they do like a water drop sound.
They do like
that.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
I'm
going to hell, dude. I'm going to hell.
Right.
I'm going to hell.
I'm already there. It's okay.
No, you're just coming home.
Right.
Yeah.
At
the end of the day, when it comes to comedy, what you find funny, different people find different things funny.
Yeah.
In the right context. I've always said that, and I know that any stand-up comedian would agree with me. Anything is fair game for comedy, done for the right audience in the right context.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, because there's a what's his name? He just did a
Just
Netflix
look at the entire
special.
career of George Carlin, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
done properly.
There's
Yeah,
some
speaks for
guys
itself.
that can get away with some pretty gnarly stuff.
It's all in your delivery and knowing your
And
audience
yeah,
and the context that you have on things, right? So that's
it's
the
not
important
like coming
thing.
out and just dropping the N bomb just because.
Right.
Exactly, right?
You
So,
know, like in the right group of people, you can say that.
yeah.
But in the wrong group of people, not yeah, like you said, not knowing your audience, you got to kind of be a little careful. But if you know who your audience
Absolutely.
mostly is,
Yeah.
who cares? Like you can get away with murder, and people would be just like, "Dude, that's
Yeah.
funny."
Yeah.
A current example, South Park, right? Like literally anything and any person is fair game at this point.
Right.
Right.
I
Mhm.
mean, I've never been a huge South Park guy, but
Yeah.
like, you know, I see the ads
Me
for Enter the Panderverse
Yes.
on Paramount,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
What-
yeah, they are.
What's so impressive with that show is they crank out an episode from concept to it being on screen in 6 days. So
For real.
coming up with the story, animating, producing it. There's a documentary you can find on YouTube actually. It's called 6 Days to Air, and you see like their creative process of like from initial brainstorm idea to on TV 6 days.
Wow.
I would like to meet the dude that came up with Mr. Hanky the Christmas Poop.
I mean, it's Matt Stone and Trey Parker. That's who you have to thank.
I want
Right.
to shake his hand.
And then you go from that, and then those guys did like arguably one of the most successful musicals of all time with the Book of Mormon. Like you want to talk just like guys that just like that have done like so well for themselves and just aren't afraid to kind of push that envelope, right? So
That's good.
Yeah.
Just let everybody know that it's 9 o'clock. It's officially we're done the regular hour
It is.
of the Boar's Nest, so you're getting some extra footage here at this point.
Yep.
Unless these two gentlemen need to take off, I don't know.
It is Turnbuckle Studios. It is the Boar's Nest After Hours.
yeah,
Yes, I do have some questions for Mr. Joe,
yes,
and
ask away,
people
sir.
feel free to leave a comment or a question for Joe.
Yeah.
Please, if it's inappropriate, I'm not going to ask it. So don't even start that shit.
Yeah.
And if you offend my friend Joe here, I'm quite afraid I might have to boot you from the room.
So disclaimer, we're at the hop. You can't offend me at this point, right? So
I didn't
like
think so, but I was just
I've literally from being on this platform before, so I've literally
I
received death threats. So like, there's nothing that really phases me at this point. So
yeah, I know. There, you and I have had our conversations about some of that shit, and I just
oh yeah,
I shake my head, going, why? Why do
Yeah.
people have keyboard warrior? That's all you are. So
Yeah.
So my first question is, and you've kind of already answered it. Your favorite platform to play video games on?
Ooh, that's a tough one because it's changed a lot over the years, right? So like originally, it's like
Okay, so let me ask this one.
Yeah.
Because you're probably like me, you've got a shit ton of them that you like to play. What's your number one go-to gaming system that you're just like, yeah, I feel like a kid again, playing that system or that game? Or
current day, that would be like a toss-up between the Switch and the PS5 because the Switch
Okay.
has a really cool thing called Switch Online, which includes a bunch of original Nintendo and Super Nintendo games that you can just literally just play. But like I said, it's something that's changed a lot over years. It's evolved from playing like Nintendo and Super Nintendo with Curl and when I'm playing NHL
yeah,
94 and that kind of stuff to PC gaming for a large part of the 90s, and then and then getting kind of into the console side of things to now where I actually find myself playing a lot of more like mobile kind of like casual games because I'm kind of on the go a little bit more. So like it's for me, it's kind of a toss up between the console games and then gaming on the go.
yeah. No, I know because you have a little like game thing that you have all your.
The Switch Lite.
That's your Switch.
Yeah. So there's a couple of different. So that's just the portable version. There's also the regular.
I got the
Switch.
regular one.
Yeah. So, what's really ingenious about that device is you can literally play that however you want to. You can play it handheld. You can play it docked to the TV. So and they've even improved on the iteration with the Switch OLED. So yeah.
I got that. That's my kid, and I play
But to
that.
give you the more simple answer, my favorite gaming platform is whatever has good games on it. I will play.
Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
I had a
we've-
PlayStation.
Yeah. I mean, we've had this discussion. Gaming is so subjective, and everybody has their
Oh, fuck yeah.
preferences.
Oh fuck yeah! That's why we like to
So-
bust his balls about being a PlayStation guy. That's,
Exactly.
you
Now,
can't hold that against him.
now, to any of our viewers, we know that Chris Best is a PlayStation guy.
Yes, he
But
unfortunately.
to
is.
anybody, any of our viewers, if you do decide to donate a PlayStation or two to us, we will play it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I'll put it on this thing in a heartbeat.
Right?
I'm not going to say no if you give me the play. I just it was the controller for me. It made my hands cramp.
Yep.
That was the only reason.
See, because I went back and I went from the NES to the Genesis was my next upgrade.
Oh Jesus, they have
To
that
the-
on Switch now.
Yep, to the PS1 to Xbox.
I had I went Commodore 64, Atari, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, PlayStation 1,
Yep.
and then I was basically handed an original Xbox before it even came out, because at that time my sister's boyfriend worked for Microsoft in the gaming department. Pardon me?
We're right on the verge of another kind of change in gaming because
There is.
to kind of tie in the content that I'm doing lately. For those of you who do pay attention to the news, as of the end of 2023, Best Buy no longer carries physical media, so like movies, TV shows, music, out of stores. So bringing that back over to gaming, we're a few months away from Nintendo probably really revealing their next generation of systems. It's likely
Yes.
going to be an all digital thing, and then so that means no more physical media.
Yes.
And that means that the rest of the industry, the PlayStation, the Xbox, will likely follow suit with that. Other retail stores are looking at phasing out physical media.
Yes.
Walmart, sometime this year, is apparently pulling all of their physical media from retail stores, at least when it comes to Walmart's. So we're on that. What's really interesting thing that is happening is people are willing to. So we've gone from like really wanting to collect and have these things in our hand, and we're willing to trade that off for the convenience of being able to play our games on whatever we want, wherever we are. So we're in that transition stage. It's going to make a lot of people uncomfortable. A lot of people don't like it, but it's definitely the way that things are going. So.
Yes. No, and I'm glad you touched on that. Yes, Walmart is pulling physical media from the shelves this year.
Yeah.
Xbox has released the Series S Carbon, which has the same specs as the Series X, but it's the digital one.
1 terabyte storage as well.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know why.
Briefly on that too, having solids, this is getting totally nerdy for maybe those who are this is going above their head, but you guys all know because every system we play on has this. Playing games off of a solid state hard drive is literally a game changer. Like, so you can literally like just be in the middle of a game, shut the console off, come back like 9 hours later, power back on, and just hop right back in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
We've never been
epic.
able to do that before, but because
No.
of the speed of these drives, well, it's like multiple gigabytes per second.
Yes.
That this stuff competes at is literally insane.
Yes. And then you've got this new look for this current generation, but the new iteration of the Xbox, the cylindrical.
Yeah, that looks interesting.
That looks weird.
It does. But I mean, it takes up a lot less space than the Series X.
Which is already relatively small.
It is.
Right. And then you get that Series S, at least at the first iteration of that. I mean, it's like the size of like a Tom Clancy book.
Which is what Bubba and I have actually.
Like it's ridiculous. Like and it's
mine literally looks like a Bible my dad used to carry around. It's like this thick and
Yep.
But
I mean, on the plus side as well, for those of us that will still potentially have games with or consoles with disk drives, you still have pawn shops.
The real big, as much as there's positive with the digital media, the big downside is for anybody, anybody watching, if you ever buy a digital game and you just have time to kill, the agreement that we're supposed to read and agree to, if you actually read that, it does say in there that you do not own that game. You're purchasing a license to use said game, and that can be revoked at any time. So, like a good recent example, the PlayStation 3, that digital store is no longer exists. So, if any digital games that you did not have downloaded, they're gone.
Gone.
So that's the only thing that with preservation, like especially like game collectors, that's just going to be a thing of the past, right? Unless they somehow choose to endlessly support these older platforms. But then, like at some point, like where's the give? Like, are they just going to continuously grow and grow and grow this library? No, they're probably going to cut it off at some point, right? So that's the only major downside is that the ownership of these things is kind of being taken away from us to make it more convenient for us. So it's kind of like it's there's some pros and cons there. Like with
it's hard. It's hard for me because I have that. I don't want to call it obsessive compulsive, but you can call it what you want. Where I have to have like my copy. It's got to be mine. Like I don't want nobody taking it from me.
So it's going to be a rough transition for you because like things are definitely heading that direction.
One of the reasons why I didn't mind going digital, and I'm going to go back to probably the Series 1 or the Xbox One Series, was because my kid was little and liked to open and close the disc tray and damaged a couple of games. Now he knows better. So that's why I was awesome. Like, okay, I'm going digital. That way I can keep my game. I sold a couple of the games that he damaged and got good money for them.
Lucky. Okay, so we got that established. What's your favorite game, like go-to game to make you feel good? Like,
that's tough.
Doesn't matter what console, doesn't matter. Just what's your one game that you always go back to?
Because there's a lot of competition. Like, see, when it comes to like favorites for like games, movies, music, and stuff like that, for most of those I don't have like one clear favorite because like I tend to go on what I like to call like a kick. So like I'll like watch like a bunch of something and get like right into it, and then my interest will shift to something else, right?
Yeah, I feel you there.
But if I had to pick, this might actually surprise you guys. Right now, it's actually NHL 24. I've been playing on the PS5. It's been rather good because like the hockey game has had some issues for quite a long time because I mainly play my game single player, and the difficulty scaling has always been like really really out of whack when it comes to the single player aspect because you go from like too easy to too hard in just like one difficulty jump. So it's not like a gradual increase in like the difficulty. It just goes from too easy to too hard.
Yeah.
Whereas now, like they finally started working that to where it's like it's a little bit more of a gradual slope now.
Yeah.
Which has been sorely needed, frankly, because not all of us can necessarily play multiplayer or like playing multiplayer, especially when it comes to playing, especially like Chell, where you create yourself.
Yeah.
There's a lot of douchebags on the internet.
Yep.
And
there is.
People can be a pain in the ass.
And I'm not going to go into my rant over these annual games. I've ranted on this enough. I'm sure everybody here has heard it. So it's tough because really it's, okay, we're going to change the engine. We're going to update the rosters. But what have you done?
Yeah. The problem lies is they have to crank one of these games out every single year.
Exactly.
So I can't name who it is, but like when I did take a little bit of computer programming in college, I know somebody that works for EA specifically on the Madden and the NHL games. They literally just have to basically live in their office while they're in development mode until they get approval to actually be released. They're essentially living at the studio So
Wow.
while it may appear that they're not doing very much, there's actually quite a bit going on behind the scenes. But still, just imagine though, normally, normally like a top tier triple A game needs like 5-6 years in development, if not longer. Games like
Yeah.
but I'm talking games like Witcher, Grand Theft Auto, and whatnot. So that's maybe a bit of an extreme example.
Right.
But usually, like a good top, at least minimum 3 to 4 years.
Right.
They need to crank out a fucking game every single year.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, it's difficult.
Like clockwork. You there's not enough time there to make any significant improvements.
No.
That's why their back is up against the wall, and why it should be more to like a 2 or 3 year development cycle.
Right.
We saw finally with WWE, they kind of took a year off, and then you saw with the newest WWE, it's actually rather good.
Yeah.
Because they actually had time to actually give a shit and actually make an effort.
Right.
Yeah. Put the extra little
and
sparkles on there.
I do find it funny because you just addressed the WWE games, because I haven't played one since probably 2K17 when
you frankly haven't missed much.
When I didn't like the controls.
But when they took a year off, they actually were able to make something pretty damn good.
But I have not seen anything about AEW Fight Forever. I have not heard, like, I know it's out.
So I have it. It's a mix. My main criticism, and this may seem trivial to most, but when I play a wrestling game, I guess I'm so like wired to expect it of a wrestling match. But playing a wrestling game where there's no commentary happening whatsoever and music playing in the background, it just feels
really
wrong. Because like commentary is such an integral part.
It is.
So they just made an arcade game.
Yes. Is it fun? To a certain extent, yes, but it results in it's a very shallow kind of. There's not a whole lot of modes. The roster is relatively small, but keep in mind too, this was their first effort, and they had to get out of the door rather quickly.
Right.
Right. Kenny Omega was, it's very public knowledge that him and that team did not gel well together at all.
Yeah,
right? So,
it's very public.
It's the type of thing. It is what it is. It was an okay first effort, but it leaves a lot to be desired.
Now, it was to my understanding that basically the reason why they've called it Fight Forever was because they're not going to do an annual game. They're just going to release add-ons, updates, DLCs.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that, though? Do you think that's smarter than an annual game every year, really, or?
To a certain extent, but then at some point you have to come up with something new.
Yeah.
Right? You can't just ride that horse.
No, because, I mean, what are you going to do? Okay, like, I've still got Cody Rhodes on AEW Fight Forever, but where are you 5 years from now? Well, can we take him off? No, because he was one of the founders of this company. Well, you got to let go at some point.
Yeah. I mean, he obviously did, so why can't you?
Right.
Like, grow up, people.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like I said, it's a fun game, but then so what's really telling is if you play Fight Forever, like, and then you play the newest WWE game right after, it is like night and day.
Oh wow!
And you could say the same thing with their products as well. Like, is AEW fun to watch? To a certain extent, yes.
Yeah,
it's scary sometimes.
Polarizing opinion, and you are just hinted at. They're trying too fucking hard. I saw one the other day where Darby Allin got body slammed into the steps, part of the steel steps. What are you doing? You're going to kill yourself. You're not going to see your 40th birthday, dude. You can get over by doing a lot less if you're just. Less is more. I've said for years that less is more.
Yep.
Right? Is that stuff cool?
Like, I seen
in small doses, those big high spots can be entertaining, but when it's all the time, you can't maintain that for a long period of time. It's going to catch up to these guys eventually.
I touched on this the other night on Turnbuckle Talk when we did the awards, and I love wrestling. I want to see AEW succeed.
Absolutely,
but the way they're going to have a tragedy on national TV or on pay-per-view.
What they need is I'm gonna dust off an oldie here for you guys. You guys may not heard this expression. So this is going back to the Hitting the Marks podcast network.
Okay.
WWE kind of has this now. Thankfully, now that Vince is gone. But AEW needs this as well. And this is you put in a department at your company, and it's called the Department of No, we're not going to do that. The Department of What the fuck is what it's called. So when stupid ideas come across the table, you go,
Yep.
no, we are not going to do that because that's stupid. Somebody's going to get seriously injured. Somebody has to. There needs to be, because right now, essentially, the inmates are running the asylum with AEW.
Yeah.
You need to have a proper leader, and you need to have a proper kind of group of people, like your Pat Pattersons, like your Joe Briscoes and stuff that WWE had. You need to have that leadership there, because right now it's just it's a nut house.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
are they doing some cool stuff? Sure, absolutely, but it's got to be kept in check.
Yeah, like not having your icon Sting doing fucking spots where he's going through tables off of God knows what now, and no,
exactly.
no.
Yeah.
You want to get him to take a bump? There's the ring.
Yeah. Ric Flair better not have a friggin' match in AEW.
No,
I know he
won't.
wants to, but he better not.
He wants to, but he's already said it's not likely that Tony Khan would let him.
Good. I mean,
I wouldn't let no. I love Ric Flair. Ric Flair is kind of one of my guys, but I wouldn't even let him.
That
No.
last match thing that they did in that, I forget exactly what that independent promotion was. There were some cool people involved with that, don't get me wrong, but that was so bad and so poorly executed. He literally passed out during that match. Twice. Right? Yeah. Like that. I respect what he wanted to do there, but it was so poorly executed that
Yes.
you can make an argument that like tarnished his legacy.
That match was run under the Jim Crockett Promotions.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, they did cool stuff back in the
They
day.
did.
But to have Ric Flair's fourth or fifth last match at this point,
Right.
it's
Isn't
like
that
you're
number
like,
10?
You're like the Rolling Stones of wrestling business. It's like,
And those guys are
"No,
going on
we love
tour
you.
again this
We
summer.
love you, but go away now, please.
Yeah. But no,
This-
now he's got his energy drink. He's got his cannabis
good
line
Lord.
with Mike Tyson.
Like I love Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett. They were both involved in a match. They should have been like, dude, you don't need to do this.
Right?
You're
right.
Ric fucking Flair. You don't need to keep doing this.
Dude, literally come out to your music, go woo, and then walk away, and everyone's
Yeah.
happy.
Right?
They
Fuck,
could have had
that's Ric
another.
Flair.
They could have had another woo off with Jay Lethal.
That would have been epic.
That would have been entertaining.
That would have been fucking epic. I would have paid money to see that.
But watching him pass out in the ring,
That was scary, dude.
Yeah.
Like I literally thought I was going to see my
he had
hero
no
die.
business to be in there, right? So
I thought he was going to die, dude. I was literally thought I was watching Ric Flair die.
Yeah.
I mean, he has said that he kind of wants that to happen,
Yeah.
but we don't want to see that.
No.
Dude, at this age, it's not going to make you look like a hero. It's going to make you look like a fucking idiot.
Look, I get it. Like to put in a little bit of context, go watch the movie The Wrestler if you haven't already. If you like wrestling at all, go and check that out.
Yep.
Same kind of particular mindset, with Mickey Rourke's character in that movie of wanting to kind of keep going. I understand that mindset.
Yeah.
But at some point, you have to be, you know what? I accomplished all of this. I need to step aside, and if nothing else, maybe just help bring up that next crop of talent. By talking to them, sharing some of your experiences. This is something that works. This is something that doesn't work. But you don't need to go into the ring and kill yourself.
No.
Don't mind me. I thought I had it right here. Fuck, where'd it go?
Go.
I have the movie. It should be right there. But because I moved, everything's all discombobulated.
It's relatively hard to find now, even on like a lot of digital platforms. You can't buy it and whatnot. I'm not sure what's going on there. Maybe some copyright issues or something. But it's a relatively hard movie to find these days.
Yeah. I used to have it.
Yeah.
I got The Ultimate Warrior. I got Ric Flair and the Four Horsemen.
Yep.
And then I got The Wrestler. I got a burnt copy of The Masked Saint somewhere, but I think it's gone.
Yep. Part of that shot right here in Sault Ste. Marie, by the way.
The whole thing was shot here.
The whole thing was shot here, bro.
Oh, I was not aware of that.
Yep, the whole thing was shot here.
Nice.
I was supposed to be here for that.
Yeah.
Because all our boys are in the background.
Yep.
And
Piper was
match
involved in
and
that,
whatnot.
was he not?
Yes, he was.
And
one of
I got
my
called to
biggest
work.
regrets. One of my biggest regrets in what we've done up to this point was I never got to meet or do something with Piper. Because Piper, for those who aren't aware, Piper is my wrestling hero.
Yeah, he's a lot of people's wrestling.
Some people may have heard this phrase, some people may not have. I was on the verge of securing an interview with him, and that literally was happening around the time where he was having problems. So, to put it bluntly, he literally died in the middle of our conversation.
Oh.
So, there was the comment thread going, and he just didn't respond after. That was right when he passed away. So, we were on the verge of securing an interview with Roddy Piper on Turnbuckle Talk, and then he literally died.
You know what? As far as I'm concerned, I'll put this out there. And again, this just comes from my heart. He was gonna do it. He was just feeling you out to see if you were legit and whatnot. And God took him before he had the chance to tell you.
It was meant to be.
I mean, I reached out back then to try and secure interviews with Scott Norton.
Yes.
Because I actually have Mr. Norton as a Facebook friend.
Yep.
I'll put this one out there. I'm actually talking to, he's Canadian, and a lucha libre legend.
Okay.
One and only, I'm not going to use his real name, Vampiro.
Ooh, yeah.
An Ontario boy.
Yep.
Thunder Bay, buddy.
Thunder Bay,
Yep.
He still lives there, doesn't
he? He has a house there with his mother or family. He lets them rent it because he's all over the world.
Yeah.
When I was in Thunder Bay, I actually had the honor and the privilege of meeting Vampiro.
Nice.
And talking to him, and we keep in touch. I did not mark out at all when I met him. He very down to earth guy, very he has the persona of Vampiro, and he lives Vampiro, and he lives lucha libre.
Right.
But
We almost had him.
Guy, he's great.
We almost had him in our Energy Rock Radio days. We were actually going to have a program with him on the station, but then that was right when he got that deal with Lucha Underground.
Okay.
Which killed that thing. He was going to do a Vampiro radio show on Energy Rock Radio, but sadly, again, that was not meant to be.
He does it now, but on his own. He does it both in English and Spanish.
Yeah, because he said it was always something he wanted to do, and then it just didn't pan out because of obviously he was contractually obligated at that point. So
right.
Yeah, well, but yeah, if I could get him, if he's watching, because I know he watches the program, he just doesn't tell us. He doesn't comment. He doesn't do that kind of thing.
Right.
He's told me flat out. He goes, I watch your program when I can, and it's nice. It's different. It's something that I can get into. And he's not a gamer, and he likes to watch what we're doing. But
and it's probably because we're not out spending $80 on a brand new game every week to have it. We're going back and doing.
Well, we're doing it.
Throwbacks.
We're literally showing people how to have fun gaming while you have the ability to be online and not spend shit tons of money to get the latest game. Right. You can do this shit on a budget and still have lots of fun with your buddies.
Right.
But literally, if he's watching, if you catch this episode, Vampiro, and I've said it to him, literally all I want to do is talk about where he started, how he got into the business and things he's learned along the way. Now he does, I don't know if you guys know, he does have the early onset of Alzheimer's.
Yep.
And how he's progressed and regressed those early stages with everything that he's doing now, he finds that his memory isn't going away as fast,
Right.
and he spends a lot of time. This is why he spends a lot of time in Mexico and doing the AAA stuff, because he's constantly using his Spanish. He won't forget that, and he's remembering more. And it's just, he's like a brother, dude. Really, honestly, he's like an older brother that I can. Hey,
Right.
dude, I'm having a rough day. Let's talk wrestling.
Right.
You know, but yeah, if I could get him on the show, I would. There's a bucket list for me. You know what I mean?
That'd
Like,
be definitely a really good get for you.
Yeah.
to have that legend. I don't care what anybody says about him. He's a legend in wrestling.
No denying. I mean,
No.
the list of things that he's been involved with is
Dude
quite
needs to go to the Hall of Fame, as far as I'm concerned. Like, not WWE, but like some kind of Hall of Fame needs to induct this guy,
Right.
You know,
just to
Cauliflower.
show that appreciation.
Is he in the Cauliflower Alley Club? I mean, that
I don't think he is.
In my humble opinion, that is the true wrestling Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Right.
You're not going to get an argument out of me.
That one's really a who's who. Like even our friend Mr. Chris Parrish,
Yes.
has been there. So
Yes.
super jealous of that too. By the way, that'd be pretty sweet to see. But I think you have to be. I think you have to be a talent to be even invited. So yeah.
Is that like a physical Hall of Fame, or is that just kind of like?
Yes, I mean, there's, it's. I don't know the correct. This is where we need Parrish for this, but
Parrish, are you still watching?
I believe it is quite formal, but it's in my opinion, it's more legit than the WWE Hall of Fame, because I mean, as cool as the WWE Hall of Fame can be, there are some people in there that really shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Let's be perfectly honest with ourselves, right? So, in my humble opinion, still they really, I'll catch some flack with this, but I'm going to say it anyways. Personally, I still think to this day that the only really true Hall of Fame person in the WWE Hall of Fame is the first inductee, Mr. Andre the Giant. He's somebody that of that group, like he's one of the only ones that really kind of embodies that. I mean, you want to talk to somebody like just not only just in wrestling, but every aspect of that man's life is legendary, right? Even his farts. And I'm being serious. Right? This is right from Mr. Jake the Snake Roberts. He said, one of the most legendary. This is a true story, right? One of the most legendary things about Jake, or about Andre, wasn't like his wrestling career or the fact that he has the Guinness World Record for most alcohol consumed in one sitting. He said it was his farts. It's like if you were in an elevator with him, the elevator would rumble when when Andre would drop a fart in the elevator. This is yeah,
and that's the cool part about
right from Jake's mouth.
Yeah, that's the cool part of having these legends around still.
Yeah,
is you can pick their brains and ask them questions, and they'll tell you flat out. They don't even care. There's like no filter. It just goes bleh. And then they're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that.
Him specifically, like there's a guy that like I'm so glad and happy for him. I mean, I'm talking Jake, because he was on the verge of like literally being dead.
Yeah,
you look at him now, like he hasn't regret. Like he's getting old. He's starting to look a little, but like he still looks healthy. He's having fun. You can tell like he's like what he should be.
Enjoying wrestling.
He was on the verge of literally destroying himself.
Yep, dude, he was.
But
they were saying he was close to,
and he's stayed healthy, which is incredible, and I'm so happy for him.
Yep. So it didn't give any like type of Hall of Fame acknowledgments or anything for Vampiro, from what I just.
He deserves it though with everything he's done.
He hit number 31 in PWI Top 500.
Nice. He actually just had a match in AAA like a week ago.
Yeah.
I watched the clips of it. The dude can still wrestle, dude. Like, he's a little stiff, obviously, from all the injuries he's had and all the bullshit he's put his body through.
Yeah.
But he's the equivalent in Mexico as we are like Ric Flair. He's that status down there. So literally he could walk out, kendo stick somebody if he wanted, never take a bump and walk back out, and dude's made his money. Like
Yeah.
And everyone's loved it. But he's in there literally doing matches still.
Yep.
And on top of that, he's got a band that he tours with.
Right.
That he's the lead guitar player and singer.
Chris Best posting that he wants to reach out to Jimmy Corderas. I am 100% with you.
Yeah.
I am 100% with you.
That would be some interesting conversations there with that man.
That would be interesting. And again, if we get these actual people to come onto these shows, it's not even to be like geeky schoolboy, it's literally to have an honest and truthful conversation with the person. Really.
Absolutely.
Like if I could call it Petey Williams right now and be like, hey bro, you want to jump on and let's talk some Maple Leaf Muscle. Let's talk prior Petey Williams stuff. Let's just talk.
Yeah.
Dude, I would. And
right.
God rest his soul, if I could get Rosie, like that dude freaked me out the first time I met him.
Right, yes.
Yeah. You've heard that story, but
I think we all have.
It was Petey that was like, dude, just breathe.
Yeah.
Because I kind of geeked out a little bit.
Well, yeah, because you're awestruck when you're there.
Well, it was my first time around somebody that I literally watched and idolized on TV, and then now he's right there in front of me. That was my first time ever. So, and he knew, he could tell.
Yeah.
And he was cool about it. He was like, "Whatever, go get me a water." Not a problem. Come back with a whole fucking bag of it.
Right.
Yeah, it's hard not to talk wrestling when Joe's here.
It's for those who may be tuning in, or especially if this is your first time. This is another really cool aspect, I think, of what we've kind of built here. So we went into the show with something completely different in mind.
Oh, 100%.
The conversation just like flowed into something completely different.
Yeah.
Which,
right.
We don't have a script here in the Boar's Nest. We really don't.
No.
Like we come in with ideas.
Conversations have actually happened to this.
Right.
And you guys will feel me on this, where it's like we will be like done something and we'll like shoot the shit for like another extra hour. It's like, dude, why didn't we just record that?
Right.
That's essentially what we did here.
Yeah. That's pretty much what the Boar's Nest is.
We actually recorded it this time.
Yep.
That's all the Boar's Nest is, Joe, is literally no script.
Yeah.
Bullshit as much as we want. Play a game. Talk about it. Like, we were literally going to play Gears of War 4 and just sit and chat with you.
Right.
Like, but my Twitch decided to be a bum and died on me. So I was like, you know what? Forget it. We're not to play the game today. We got Joe. Let's hang out with Joe and pick his brain and see how he's been. And like, it was meant to be.
It's been an interesting journey getting to this point.
Yes. Now, when did you arrive in town, Joe?
Today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you literally went from your house to that studio and did this show.
Yep, pretty much. Well, I mean,
I know there's more to it than that.
But there's a little bit more to that. But it's and just like I said, tomorrow is going to be something pretty special. I know a lot of it probably won't be seen by a lot of people, and that's cool. But it's going to be the type of thing where you're going to have to be there to kind of fully appreciate it. We'll do our best to maybe take some pictures and whatnot. To share with everybody. But
I got my Twitch on my phone, so I might go live with Twitch tomorrow. So
well, we are getting a family photo done tomorrow.
Yeah. We need to.
Yeah.
We'll just Photoshop Chris and JJ in there.
Yeah.
There you go.
So you guys need to take a picture. Like this.
Yeah.
So we could just kind of stuff you in there somewhere. In the ring. I agree.
In the ring
Chris.
too would be cool. Yeah.
In the ring. That would be, or even beside the ring with the ropes and shit behind us, like.
I gotta talk to the promoter, and we were possibly thinking of something at the beginning of the show too, but we have to see if that is something that's doable. If nothing else, just getting to do commentary with Carl on a wrestling show is a thing crossed off the bucket list. So even if that's all that's accomplished, because there's that. The other thing on my bucket list was to make some type of entrance in wrestling. Since I can't be a wrestler myself, I'm hoping that's something happens, but if it doesn't,
Oh,
I'm totally cool with it. If all I get to do is to do commentary and be with you guys at the show,
We
that's a win.
we got to get you to do the WrestleMania experience, and then you can create your own entrance and do
Right.
it there.
I already have the song picked out. So, but again, we'll see if it happens tomorrow night. If not, I'm still gonna be happy.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It like I said when I did it, it was an experience. Just before everybody gets there, you take that moment with yourself and. Oh,
I suspect it'll probably just be commentary because, like in the back of my mind, I'm thinking too, like we could potentially do this entrance thing too, but most people there probably not gonna know who I am,
No,
so it might be a little weird. But
it would literally be
who's this
myself, Bubba,
who's this guy? Right, so
Vinny, maybe Diego.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool to see them too. By the way, because you can look at my social media. Robin, Sergeant Commando, he's gonna be there as well. I actually saw him earlier today. I had to get a charging cord.
Okay.
I actually ran into him. A little side note, but it's gonna be like a big love-in. Like I'm just, again, I'm totally marking out at this point and just repeating myself. But
right,
guys, I can't wait until tomorrow.
I want to get you to do the rock.
I might not be able to fully sleep tonight because like I'm just like
you'd be too hyped. Can you hold your hand straight at least? Like
I've been drinking a coffee. I actually can, which is actually amazing. Usually I get caffeine, I'm kind of like
you get a little twitchy.
But yeah,
I just want you to
try and sleep because like I want to be like have all my faculties there to be able to do justice. But it's possible I might not.
You know, from the opportunities that Carl gave me to get in the ring, all the way to my last match with Pile Driver Pro when Ryan Carlella put on a show.
Yep.
One of the things I did, because I had worked nights the night before the show, I was there for setup, went and worked night shift, and I was back at the arena at 8:30 in the goddamn morning.
Yep.
To practice and all of that.
A couple of other comments from Chris in the chat there.
Chris saying he'll be there around
2:30.
2:30. Yeah. Well, I guess yes.
Really?
Set up.
Yeah, I may try.
Are they actually going to be there that early?
We'll see, depending on weather, right?
Yeah, and then 3-man commentary.
These guys are doing it with Chris too, eh?
But
yeah.
So like I would always find time, or I went and instead of racing to go home and shower and get cleaned up to go back in the ring,
right?
I went and laid down. I found myself, a nice quiet area, laid down on 5 or 6 chairs and just napped for a couple hours.
When I did mine, I literally sat in the front row, like the old man, like and dude, I slept like that for probably a good 2 hours one time.
Yep.
People in the ring banging around, running through their shit, and I'm just plastered out. It was those are memories that guys like you and I and Joe are always going to have.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, not everybody can have that experience.
No, exactly.
And that, to a degree, it bugs me because it's such a fun experience my first time getting in the ring, dude. It was, it was in the facility where it was being stored. We had it set up to practice in. And I got into the ring and I literally had to hold the rope because just the emotion, and you could hear the crowd. There's not a person around but Carl and I, and you could hear the crowd just that rumble and the cheering and everything. It's just like, and I still remember Carl's words to this day. He goes, "Yeah, don't let go of the ropes and give it a minute. It will calm down." Yeah, I guess you could see my chest, and I was breathing really weird. And he's just like, "Yeah, give it a moment. You'll be good. Just give it a moment."
Yeah.
Like I had tear coming out my eyes. I was crying like a little baby because again, it's an experience that I never thought I would get.
Yep.
Like the first time I got to drive a transport legally and not on the farm,
Right.
Completely different. I had to sit behind the wheel and just kind of go, like I just told you to do. Take your moment and go, oh, I'm gonna rock
Yep.
this. Let's go.
Yep.
And that's even people that do this. My first time doing this, I had to sit between you and Carl, two guys
Yeah.
I look up to for this, and I had to go, holy shit, am I ready for this? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, I got this.
Yep.
Like, I remember you asking me, are you ready? You good? Because I guess I must have went white because you asked me like 3 times, dude, are you ready for this? Like, are you good? And Carl's just like, yeah, he's got this. We're good. Let's go.
It's not the type of thing everybody can do, quite
No.
frankly. Like the ability, like especially talking like in front of like large groups of people, the ability to do that is freakish, for lack of a better term, right? So
yeah.
it's not something that everybody can do, and you know, because like I said, I've been around for this for a little while. I get like the occasional person that throws out I want to kind of like get into like podcasting. So like, how would I go about doing that?
Yeah.
And Joe's like, I have no clue.
And I hear that question, and I'm just like, if you need to ask that question, you've already failed.
Yeah.
Because it's the type of thing, there's no set way to do this. You either have something, you have it clear in your mind what you want to kind of do, or you don't.
Yep.
Right? That there's no
100%.
handbook or like okay, so to be a podcaster or broadcaster or something on YouTube, but there's like these certain things.
Yeah, you got to follow this.
No, just like you do what works for you.
Yep.
That's why we're doing this.
Yep.
That's why we do gaming, because I don't want to sound like an asshole, but I mean, I literally got burnt out on wrestling.
Yep.
I can't. I was just like, it's not entertaining me anymore.
No, and I mean, and I get it. I mean, I know Joe's been there as well.
Yep.
Yep.
It's one of the reasons why I left.
Yep. I've burnt out on wrestling, which is why like I don't rush to watch Dynamite on Wednesdays.
No.
We picked the ideal time because Thursday nights I'd watch Impact at 8:00. So we sort of picked that ideal time because it gives me Monday, Tuesday, one night off, and then Thursday, Friday, and then I take Saturday off, and then unless there's PLE.
Yeah. I love watching PLEs.
But now I can,
I still call them pay-per-views.
So do I. I only said that because he said it.
I can still watch Impact when I go to bed because it's on at midnight.
Right. That's what I mean.
You know what happened with me? Like I said, there were some other elements to why I stopped doing Turnbuckle Talk on a regular basis. But kind of like with you guys, I got kind of burned out. Maybe for a bit of a different reason. It wasn't just from like watching it. It was from because we were talking about it in and out every single week, and sometimes on multiple shows a week, where I lost the ability to just kind of sit and watch and enjoy a wrestling match.
Right.
Because like I'm somebody who really kind of, and people have told me this, you really to analyze like the moves and that kind of stuff. I found myself like over analyzing shows and matches to the point where I literally was not enjoying them because I would just be picking them apart. Whereas I just have to think to myself, it's like, okay, it's like going to watch like a movie or something. You just need to shut off that analytic part of your brain.
Yep.
And just watch what's being presented to you.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not.
Yeah, because like I am still critical of wrestling to a certain degree, but I've gotten better at just being able to just sit down and just kind of shut off that Mighty Joe critic part of my brain, which again, it's very difficult to do. But yeah, it's gotten better. And another catalyst with this too is the return of CM Punk. Right. That kind of really reinvigorated my interest because his journey in wrestling kind of mimics my kind of journey with all this stuff too as well. So I kind of feel it. But yeah, like his return to WWE, like I was just like, damn. I was like, okay, the guy who my hero said was like one of the best in the world is back in the best wrestling company in the world. So
yeah.
Excuse me.
So Chris can't shut off that part of his brain because of his work in film, and
I feel you.
Chris is going to do a watch along as well for the Rumble here on Turnbuckle Studios.
Yeah.
So
I'm anticipating some cool stuff in there. Like I had mentioned, I think in the chat for a show you guys had the other day of high probability of MJF showing up on that. Like just like picture him and Punk standing in the middle of a WWE ring,
right
in the Royal Rumble. That'd be a surreal moment.
It would be. I don't see it just because of his injuries right now, which are legit, and he is contemplating surgery.
Yeah. But keep in mind too, in Ring of Honor, Dalton Castle wrestled with like a really bad injury for like almost 2 years.
Broken back, yeah.
Right. So if
Jesus,
anybody
did you
can kind
know
of
that?
do it, so especially if it's to facilitate a move to the WWE, you
Yep.
just might do it. Right. So if it's a relatively short spot, you could with a guy like Punk, could work around an injury. Right.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah, and MJF is no slouch himself.
No.
He knows how to protect himself, so
Yeah.
to speak. To
But I have a
Get
feeling
that big
we're
spot.
we're in for a treat. Even if that doesn't happen, I think the Rumble is going to be a good one this year.
Oh, it is. It is.
yes, regardless whether MJF shows up or not, which is
Yeah.
good because I mean, like Joe,
Because that last real legitimate surprise pop would have been AJ,
Yeah.
right, for the Rumble. Because I mean, typically there's that at least that one good legitimate surprise for the Rumble. But like it's thinking back, I think that's the last real time I was just like I was like legitimately like up off the couch. Like, did that really just happen? Moment, right? So
I kind of popped a little bit when Punk came. I'm not a big Punk guy. Like, don't get me wrong, I appreciate everything Punk's done in his career, like throughout his career. I like.
But I am anticipating another surprise because there is a gentleman today that has gone on record and said, my time with New Japan is up in January.
Who that?
One Tama Tonga.
yeah.
Ooh.
And that was because I didn't even realize this because I didn't think it was for another couple of months. Wrestle Kingdom went last night in New Japan.
Yeah,
That was last night?
Yeah, one of the biggest wrestling shows in the world. I mean, a show of that scale in the Tokyo Dome, that's
Yes.
special. Yeah.
When
That's awesome. I missed it though.
so did I. It was Will Ospreay versus John Moxley versus David Finlay for the IWGP
Nice.
International title.
Wow.
But Tama Tonga and WWE, that'd be sweet. I mean, just go and watch his stuff with Girls of Destiny in New Japan. I mean, he is supremely talented. Not only as like an in-ring performer, like character, like he's got what you would want
I
in a
also
WWE
believe that back a number of years ago, he had an affiliation, and I can't remember if he was Unico or Camacho.
guy.
I'll be honest, I don't remember
I forget.
Tama Tonga.
Yeah.
You have to send me a picture of him. Because I've watched so much Japan wrestling and don't understand who.
It's one of Haku's
anybody
kids.
is.
Yes.
Right. So like he's got that lineage as well too, right? Which fits right in with what they got going on in WWE right now. So like, if he were to show up, that would be a market moment for myself.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, any new wrestler that they bring in at this point.
And then Chris has got a really good one in the chat as well. That would be a really because I mean he's already got he's one of those guys that with his entrance has the crown in the palm of his hand with the 10 thing, right?
Oh yeah, that's just that's the guy that comes out going.
If he comes out at number 10, that's gonna be a really, really cool
that would be epic.
Yeah. They already did that once though.
It's been long,
still gonna get
enough
where it has.
Yeah. And there's another guy too that just a great where he may never be one of those top tier guys, but he's the kind of guy you can put literally in any match and he will make whoever he's working with look like $1 million.
Yeah.
That's Dillinger you're talking about, eh?
Yeah.
But wasn't he with what was the group he was with in AEW?
The Pinnacle.
Yeah. The Pinnacle, yes.
With FTR, Wardlow, and MJF.
Yes.
But there was a surprise attack at the post Wrestle Kingdom press conference when David Finlay, who beat John Moxley and Will Ospreay, was jumped by the most wanted man, Nick Nemeth.
Yes.
Okay.
Better known to you as Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
Shut up. He's over in New Japan? Good for him.
There's a guy that would have a sweet run through the Super Juniors.
Yeah.
Put him in there with like Hiromu and guys like that. You'd have some really cool stuff there.
Still bugs me that he's not in WWE because I was a huge Dolph Ziggler fan. Like, he was my guy.
So was I.
But that being said, super proud of him knowing that information now that he's over in New Japan.
Yeah.
Like,
Once
eat
again,
that shit up.
Once again, proof that there is life outside of the WWE.
Yeah, there is.
100%. Yeah.
But it's weird though, because it's like things are like tipping back the other way now, where it's like now everybody wants to kind of be back in the WWE because there's some cool things happening there, right?
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think a lot of that is contributed to, and I'll say it, I don't care, Vince not being around.
it's
absolutely
no denying it, right?
And
At the same time, too, like we can still never forget, Vince is a big reason why we're all even here doing this. Why wrestling is even on network television, why pay-per-views are even a thing now, PLEs.
Yeah.
Right? Without Vince, none of that happens.
Exactly.
Having said that, though, eventually, again, like Ric Flair, we talked about earlier, eventually you have to step away and be like, okay, you know what? My time has come and gone. Somebody else needs to
change the guard. It's time.
Like, even when you watch Raw and Smack, like Raw especially, like the show has like a flow to it now.
Yep.
Whereas like when Vince is running, it's like chopped up segments of a show, and it just there's no cohesiveness to it whatsoever.
I have noticed, and I don't know if you guys have noticed this, the promo bits have been
again,
it's
like
more wrestling now.
Less is more.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
mean,
you got 3 hours to fill too, right? You got to keep that in mind too. So,
like, don't get me wrong. If I ever got a moment to be face to face with Vince, I would shake his hand and say thank you.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you for my childhood and everything that you've done up to this point. Thank you.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you for 40 years.
Right. 42 for some, like.
Might be kind of a good way to kind of end things off here. I know we're running like almost 2 hours at this point. To kind of tie in with what we were talking about something earlier. I think it was a good thing to end off on, because we were talking about the death of like physical media in a lot of stores.
Yes.
You guys might already know where I'm kind of going with this one, because something at WWE announced recently.
Yes.
He knows what I'm talking about already. This is how well we know each other, right? WWE on physical media is no longer a thing. So like WWE DVDs and that kind of stuff, the last one was just put out. They're not doing that anymore. So they are fully going towards digital content. Yep.
I mean, good for them.
Yep.
Less things they got to produce and less things they got to put money into.
Exactly.
Making a physical copy, so now that's more money they can put towards.
It's not a revenue stream because you've got the people buying the network or Peacock.
Well, exactly right now. Yeah. You don't have guys like us that used to collect tapes and trade them. Okay, dude, I watched this one. I'll trade you for, whatever you got right there. And then,
when that was the thing too, that was a big kind of game changer then. It's just another evolution of the wrestling business.
Yep.
100%.
Yep.
100%.
Technology and people's viewing habits are going in that direction, and they're making the right bet. Because like continuing to go down that path is just, I won't say a waste of time, but money-wise, it's money that could be better spent in other aspects.
Exactly. It could be spent on better production for whatever pay-per-view or acquiring a certain talent for a storyline, whatever,
Or even if you wanted to pay the people that really go unappreciated in the wrestling business, especially in the WWE and the scale things that they go on. Again, you probably know where I'm going with this. The people who set up the show week to week, the ring crew, the people that work in production, pay them a little bit more, because they go so underappreciated, and if they could probably deserve to be paid a bit more.
They could, because I mean,
they're the unsung heroes.
They are, but there's even more unsung heroes that you never hear about. The wives, the husbands, the kids,
right?
Yeah,
who have to deal with mommy or daddy being gone 200 to 300 days a year.
And good on the ones that make it work too, because it's can't be easy.
Right.
And many relationships have failed because of that, right? So
Yeah.
So
100%. Yeah, you're right. So any last words, OMD?
I have nothing. I will say this. Thank you so much, Big Joe, for being here
Oh, man.
live.
Right.
Yes.
It was cool.
Live. It was great to have you in studio.
It's completely different. Like it's one thing to do it in front of a
Like that.
camera. It's cooler doing it in person. I'm not gonna
It is.
lie.
So,
I'm appreciative of the fact that I was able to host you this time.
Right.
yeah, I
So
couldn't have you
thank
here. I
you so
got
much for
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah.
for being here.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on the Boar's Nest.
Yeah.
yes.
Thanks for having me.
This is your
What can we expect from the HTM podcast coming up?
Well, when I get back, it's going to be like a couple days away, so I'm going to have to think up of something. If you guys can even post in this chat, and I can check later. Or my most recent video, I did post a question that for anybody watching, if there's a certain thing that you guys want me to do, if you still want me to stick with reviews, or if you want me to do more kind of like general discussions, or if you want interviews, or if you want tips from somebody who's very knowledgeable about technology. Not
Right.
toot my own horn, but toot. Feel free to comment and let me know what you guys want to see, and we'll make it happen.
All right.
I know that doesn't really answer the question.
It
But,
does. No, you answered.
True answer is I don't really know yet.
All right.
For everybody out there, Joe, that want to get in contact with you or whatever, give us your socials and where we can find you when you do your shows.
Yep. I aim for every Monday or Tuesday. I actually put up 2 videos this past week, but usually I get every Tuesdays what I aim for at HTM Tech on YouTube. On Facebook, I don't really do the other social medias. One is hard enough to manage as it is. I don't have a whole lot of spare time these days, but at the HTM Tech on Facebook, I post all the content there as well. So, and then if you guys do watch the videos, make sure and like and subscribe, because that helps me kind of bump up, and make sure you do that with Turnbuckle Studios here as well, because it does help us to get noticed by more people if more people like and subscribe.
That's correct. Yeah, and hit the notification bell.
Yeah, that
So
we
that
always
anytime
get
we go
notified.
live, you or put product out, you guys
Absolutely.
will
Yeah.
get notified when we go live.
Yeah.
So again, like OMD had said, thank you so much for stopping by. Again, you have an open invite, whether it's in studio or on camera. We appreciate Joe coming by anytime. So all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, chiclets of all ages, this has been another awesome 2-hour episode of The Boar's Nest. We will see you tomorrow on Twitch. That is The Boar's Nest with Bubba Duke and OMD at twitch.com. Keep yourself posted, because I'm going to go live tomorrow before the show and then tell you guys to have a great night while I go enjoy my podcasts and stuff. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Have yourselves a great night. And as Carl would say, the world is a scary place. Take care of each other.